on to Gourock Community Council formal meeting. This is the part when everything comes to the chair, and that's simply to make sure that everybody gets a chance to talk about all of the different issues that we're talking about tonight. But first we're going to look to the community councillors and introduce yourselves.
So Geraldine Varden, the community councillor.
Dan Cassidy, community councillor.
Margaret Morris, treasurer. Audrey Blanco, secretary. Engagement.
Andrew Kane, vice chair.
Alison Dickey, chair.
Scott Canning, associate member.
Christine Allen, community councillor.
Al Tarrant, community councillor.
Robert Patrick, associate member.
Okay. So, thank you very much. I'm going to move to apologies, please. What apologies do we have tonight?
We have Julia, Hamish and Susan.
Okay. And I should say actually in the room as well, you've actually got elected members as well in your local councillors. You've got Councillor Dennis, you've got Councillor Quinn, and you've got Stuart McMillan, MSP, sitting in your realms. Sorry? Oh, yes, I can see it. Thank you so much for pointing that out. So you've got Councillor Hellig, you've got home. If you want to have a little chat afterwards, you're actually quite welcome to. So, here we go. Number 2, can we have please the minutes? Can we have a proposer and a seconder if you're happy to propose and second?
I'll propose them, but can I just say, I put in an apology for Al when it wasn't there, but I'll just point it out to you.
So,
Just to add in, Al was he
Yeah,
apologised.
So proposals amended to the Dallas edition, that's fine, that's great. Any seconders? Thank you, Danny. That is super, thank you. So that is straight on, minutes now agreed. Go to Warden's report, and I see we have the Wardens up the back, thanks so much.
My name's Graham White, I'm one of the wardens for this area. I think Jamie Thompson. This is the report for July. I think there was some summer weather. So for alcohol misuse, we had no instances. Disorderly behaviour, no incidents. Drug substance misuse, we have 3. Intimidation, harassment, we had none. Neighbour noise, we had 4 instances. Public nuisance, we had 2. Setting fires, we had no instances. Vandalism, environmental damage, there was no instances. Vehicle related nuisance, there was no instances, which is 9 for this one, which last year was 6, so slight increase there. We had 3 community engagements, and that's pretty much the report. If there's any questions, I'm happy.
There you go. On you go, Geraldine.
Did you attend the Gamble Balls for the youth on Friday night?
I was off shift then.
We were off shift.
You were off
Oh, I'm not sure.
Because it seems like going well. I drove by at the end of the night. We were all
Oh,
leaving
right.
in droves and
Okay.
very happy and nice. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Where is that, Geraldine?
There was a youth night in here. I think it's Gourock Unplugged or something.
Alright.
And they had a disco from 6 o'clock to 9:30.
Sorry, I missed that.
you never know.
I'm too old.
Okay, through the chair, 2 minute talks, thank you. Can I have Callum, please,
Just
next time?
it's an event they close to the community youth team, so it's like kind of band night that we're doing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of band, you get an opportunity for young people to play live music. So I think there was 80, 90 people here turned up to, so it's a good public place of things in it.
Good, good.
I was just cheeky enough to ask them, why are you all here? Why are there so many young people in the ticket all at once? And that's what I can do.
Thanks, Geraldine.
Do you find that the incidents, I'll call it that, rise during the summer months, or is there no?
There's no rhyme or reason, but weather obviously plays a part. On summer times, the weather's not been particularly great this year. Certain things are reduced. Instances on beaches and things like that are obviously down. But
Yeah.
noise nuisance can be up. It just swings a bit of it.
Right.
Okay, and go.
Yeah, I'm just curious, what gets asked as an incident? You said incident, is that like someone calling to report something?
Yeah.
Or do you work to find someone?
No,
Is it just a
something will
report?
be reported and
Just
we'll
report.
talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll know that antisocial behaviour has been raised with the Community Council. We discussed it last time, but we'll have an update on that later. But those figures, we've noted a few of them in there as well. I don't know if there's anything else you'd want to comment in terms of any antisocial behaviour.
There has been across the week, like some graffiti, like can be of a racist nature, but it's not really around this area. It's more
This is particularly Shore Street, Davidson Street, and actually Cardwell Bay, which obviously goes out of our, and I know there's, and we'll read out the update in regard to that as well.
Yeah.
I just wondered from your perspective, there's been.
That's nothing more.
Right. Okay, thank you. Any other questions to the wardens before we let them go, because they've got more to do, I'm sure tonight. Okay, right, wardens, thank you so much, and thank you for your time. That's great, thank you.
Could you leave us a copy of that report?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Thanks.
Have the dark copy.
The nice wet one. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate you coming.
Okay, we're now going to move to item number 4, and that is one of our kind of focal items. We usually just have 2 focal items, but there's just a wee bit going on at the moment. It just needs a bit of update, but they're not, as I say, shouldn't take as long as we'd normally take these issues. So, number 4 is about McGill's buses. We've been working on this issue for some time with the support of, our councillors and MSP as well. And that is, to address the impact of the loss of the 540, and particularly Midton and Upper Gourock, being able to access their local hospital and also the town centre. And the town centres, for business, local businesses support local businesses as well. So there was a whole number of issues, and we've been keeping in this issue. And then just before the summer, we get a meeting with McGill's, and they come with a proposal. And we're going, yes, that is super. So I don't know, some of you may not be on social media, but the proposal is basically to connect, it's an additional service, and that's important, but standalone additional service, which costs about 150, to run, which is relatively small, and it's connecting the hospital to Midton and the Pierhead. So it's really addressing what we'd actually asked for. So we posted out the letter that we then wrote to Strathclyde Partnership for Transport. So McGill's, that's the solution. We thought it was really acceptable, but the funding would come from Strathclyde Partnership Transport. It might be better if I think I'll just read this letter out because it's quite an important one. So I'm just going to read this out because it explains everything instead of me blurbing. So this is what was sent to Strathclyde Partnership for Transport, the CEO. Gourock Community Council would like to ask the Strathclyde Partnership for Transport support to help us deliver what we believe to be a viable solution to ensure Gourock's residents can directly access Inverclyde Royal Infirmary and their own town centre. Since the loss of the 540 bus route, Gourock Community Council have been active on this local issue, given the concerns raised with us about how it has impacted local residents, particularly those in Midton and Upper Gourock. In June, we met with senior officials from McGill's buses and discussed the potential solutions to address the transport gaps, and action agreed at a community council meeting. This was a successful meeting in terms of the outcomes. It was attended by community councillors and our local councillor, Councillor Sandra Reynolds, who has been especially active in this issue. The end proposal was to run an additional McGill's bus service between Inverclyde Royal Hospital, Midton and Pierhead, and to seek SPT funding support to make its delivery possible. This was very much welcomed by community councillors, and for the following reasons, and this bit's important. It is a non-competitive and standalone proposal which can run at the relatively small cost of 150k per year. It promotes accessibility. Midton residents, particularly those with mobility issues, will be able to access their hospital directly and town centre. This and greater access to Gourock Medical Centre will better ensure attendance at appointments and support the community's healthcare. It will also remove barriers to local shopping, the library and social activities that benefit residents experiencing social isolation. Further still, it also supports our friends across the water who have raised with us their difficulties in travelling to hospital appointments in the IMH. It recognises and supports inclusion. Not everyone owns a car or can afford taxis. Research shows that low-income households rely more heavily on public transport, and statistically, Midton has the most low-income households in Gourock. Access to a direct bus, especially when coupled with the free bus pass support for eligible residents, can only be supported of the Scottish Government's tackling child poverty, delivery patterns and wider anti-poverty work. It builds economic sustainability. Gourock's business owners have already raised with us how times are tough for small and independent businesses. Being more accessible to the Minton and Upper Gourock community will potentially provide them with a much needed economic boost. In summary, we believe this to be a credible and affordable solution that should be supported for the accessibility, inclusion and economic reasons outlined, and we very much value expertise installation to help our community. We will be updating local residents on this progress at our Community Council meeting tonight. You are welcome to send a representative to that meeting here. We are also copying this letter to our local councillors and SPT board member and our local MSP Stuart McMillan and posting on social media. I wouldn't normally read out a letter of that length, but that's important. And so we posted it out on social media as well, and we're getting some feedback. And actually some of that feedback, I can only say, was unacceptable, what people are going through. So this is people who have serious chronic health issues. They don't, they can't cycle, they can't drive, and they can't afford the taxis. And it addresses quite a number of concerns that were just kind of raised there. So we're going to push quite hard on this issue because we think this is this is something that should be funded. And I'm going to just open up a wee bit of discussion now and see what people think on that.
Could I just also ask you to add the hospital's location and the fact that walking up that hill up Markfield Road is impassable for anyone with the slightest infirmity, to be perfectly honest.
That was actually raised as well in some of the feedback we've got. It's a steep hill, so thank you for that. So yes, absolutely, that's already noted. Yeah.
It was just made a great point that it also means, families and parents with babies are able to access Gourock as well,
Yeah. So super. Is there any other thoughts on this? I mean, I can like to members and say anything too. Feel free.
I assume the proposal is to extend the 545 that goes into the hospital down into Gourock.
No, it's an additional service.
Oh, it's
a standalone additional service, and that's the important bit because it ticks quite a few boxes and makes it easier to kind of fund. And it's although that seems a lot of money to us, it's a relatively small amount in the grander scheme of things. Yeah.
The 545 only runs on a Sunday.
No.
Well, it runs in the evenings, but it doesn't run during.
Can I ask for raised hands, please, because it's the only way I can control the discussion. Sorry, thank you.
It only runs to McInroy's Point on a Sunday.
I'm going to want to respond to that. I can take responses.
I
Typically
take
back.
bus at night, and there's 3 buses a night, and then one every hour on a Sunday, but there's only 3 during the week.
Yeah, in the evening, not during
Yes, in the evening, yes. So I was going to ask, what was the proposal for the hospital bus? How often were they proposing to run?
Oh, that's one thing. I don't have that in front of me, but what I will do is we'll post that on social media. Okay?
Even once an hour is,
Oh yes, it was regular, but I can't even bring that tonight. So we did give them some sort of little timetable around that.
They're not proposing to take away the 545 because that's very useful at night.
No, well, basically I'm just going to hold that thought. I'm just going to bring Councillor Reynolds in here, and then I saw, I think it was it yourself up the back there. Does he hand? It's Councillor Reynolds first.
Yeah, the 545 runs in the evenings and at the weekend. We asked them to do a feasibility study on that because we see it running to McInroy's Point because I live down that way. I think I've hardly ever seen anybody on that. There is, to persuade SPT to fund this, it may be that they use, I think it's 57k it costs to run that evening and weekend service. That may be part of the leverage, but there's a 901 that connects to Gourock and will connect with the 540. So it's not been left. There's a half-hour service that runs from McInroy's Point every half hour. So there is a joined up service there for that. That has all to be discussed, and it very much
think that's
depends on
important
what
bit just said, yeah.
SBT, how they see it and what they see as feasible to put it forward for bus companies into tender.
That's the point. This is our first pitch, and we've got to really hear back from SPT first, and those discussions go underway. We've just heard a wee bit of response on that. Can I just take another person? I'm just going to come back to, up the back.
The 545 on a Sunday and the 545 in the evening, those are actually subsidised, I understand, by SPT.
Yes.
And the council says there may be a bit of battling going on here where you're going to have to do something. And that my understanding was the evening service was also in conjunction with afternoon. They allow people who have got families in Dunoon to actually go to the hospital. That was basically it.
Just note a couple of things down as you're speaking there, sorry. Thank you, just to note that. Just noting down some of the comments so that when we actually be able to discuss this, we're taking these on board. At the moment we're having a discussion with SBT, Councillor Quinn, and the SL.
Also, I think it's useful to note not just the health centre but the dental. Because I do think there's dental services, so no one from Linton can sit down with a dentist either. So it's dental health as well as medical centres.
And pharmacy.
Yeah, we didn't mention the pharmacy, we mentioned other things, but actually not the dental practice and the pharmacy, so we'll be adding that into our discussions. Thank you. I think this lady first, and then up the back there,
Why can they not run the hospital bus to the pier end rather than McEnroy's Point?
That was originally something that we asked them about, and it's things that we're not experts in, the logistics, timetabling, all that sort of thing. And we did explain the difficulties with that. But I mean, what we're getting here is a service for Midtown, which that would not give. Right? It would just be extending it like the 545 just now. This one here, the standalone, actually gives a service during the day for people living in Upper Gourock. So it's actually a plus. But I should say there will be compromises. We might not get it, or we might get it with not everything that we want. So we just have to wait and see.
I'm talking about the hospital bus. At night time, why does it not just run to the pier end when they know it's running empty?
I've asked that.
From the pier end.
I've asked that.
To McEnroy's Point. I mean, it seems senseless.
Yeah, I agree, and I've asked.
Well, leave that. We've written that down about the evenings there. You just said there, okay?
Because it would meet up with the Larks bus.
Yeah.
It could meet up with the Larks bus.
We have already put that. We have already done that about a year ago, and
right, so that's
keep
covered.
raising it with them. But we can't have both. And if we had that extension, then we wouldn't get the Midtown, we wouldn't get the 540 standalone.
Okay, the focus right now is very, very much on somehow connecting, Upper Gourock and Midtown, because it's been well raised with us, okay? Now, I'm just going to come to you in a second. And also the fact is, when we're talking about compromises, and it might be that we may even, potentially, we can even get a trial. And that's when we'd have to make sure that all bombs were in seats, and that it was well used, to actually argue the fact that this is very much needed. Up the back, thank you.
Yeah, well, it's kind of that all sounds positive. It's much needed. I'd say we should do what we can to encourage everyone to use it, regardless of whether you ability or not, because really using our public services and our public transport is going to ensure that they keep going. It's a use it or lose it situation. A lot of times we need folk on the bus. Hopefully the 2 quid buses, whenever they'll come in, will help. But I hear constantly folk complaining that it is tough up in the hospital with the car park, direct parking. It's every hospital because it's the nature of cars. There's not really a solution to that. So fewer folk, more folk you can have leaving a car at home and jumping on the bus and getting up there, and they don't have to worry about all that parking nonsense and things. And it'll ensure that hopefully there'll be less compromises as well with a lot of folk using it. There'll be more regular running. So encourage it for everyone.
Thanks for that comment. I've got a wee addition here.
Just to add, we're missing out kind of our young people and children here. My grandson and their friends get on the 507 and go to Greenock because there's no bus to Gourock. So therefore it serves that to keep our young folk in the town as well.
And along with the work that's ongoing with trying to work with the stations and all these different things that are going on as well. So this is what we plan to do now is just to max as much as we can and make as much noise now. So, you know, it's about, you know, we don't know what SPT is going to say to us, but we have to wait and see what that is. But we can create a little bit of noise around it as well, maybe even an article for the Telegraph as well. So we'll have we're meeting Monday night as well, so we'll talk about that there too. But up until then, just let's create a bit of noise about that, and we'll keep you updated, and we post out the social media updates as well. Any comments from Community Council? And I'm just going to Councillor Quinn first, and then we come to you. Oh, hold 1 second, I'll just come to you in a second.
Yeah, just bear in mind, we do have a councillor who's the SPT rep on the board, so Councillor Wilson, so I think even just to make him aware, because he really should be our voice.
He's already been called. He's in, I think. Audrey, all right?
I'll have to double check.
At SPT.
Yeah. So if there's not been absolute, that's who we should be copying in, is
Wilson.
I keep going to say Dr. Wilson, Councillor Wilson. So yes, he will be a voice in that board. Yes, up the back. Yep, sorry. Apologies, I don't know everybody's names. That's going to up the back.
No, of course not. But we am visually better. I can't make out faces at all. No, anyway, just say that. Anyway, so a lot of issues that I've learned about since this condition has come about, all negative, well nearly all negative in terms of public services, etc., and commercial services in general. I'm not on social media, and I felt like it's delayed. I don't have broadband. I don't want to sign up to Facebook, which I would only access via the public library, but I do have difficulty even viewing PCs, but it's not so much the difficulty viewing, though great though that is significant. It's the fact that I don't want to sign up to Facebook. Is there a means of finding out what's going on with regard to the community council in general, not just this one particular issue? In years gone past, pre-COVID, there were certain communications that were given to the library, the Gourock library, and were put in a folder kind of thing. Is there any means at all?
So that
social media folk can keep abreast of what's going on.
That is important. Yeah, that's an important point you raise. It's very important, and so yes, we do put a lot out on social media, but we also very much update in these meetings with hard copies of the tracker. However, I think we need to get back more to putting agendas and trackers, and actually in large print as well, if we can do that in the library. So we've been putting, we're going to be putting them in the library, in the medical centre. Where else?
Sainsbury's, the Gamble, well, not the Gamble Halls, basically anywhere it's got a notice board, but it gets lost. I think the library and the health centre are both the most important places.
Yeah. So let's commit with the library and the medical centre. We'll get back to, as we started this, and we've kind of strayed a wee bit back again with this. Get hard copies of, particularly the latest issues tracker, because that gives updates on all issues. So, and maybe we'll talk at our business meeting as well about, you know, people in the street that can actually go and do these jobs, you know, to make sure we've got that well covered. So thank you for raising that point, it's very important. And
the only thing I would add to that, sorry, the only thing I would add to that is we've also got a website, and it's a standalone item, and all the documentation from previous meetings are stored on that.
I don't think you have internet. Do you have internet?
I can just go into the library. Is it? What would I? Gourock Community Council .gov or something?
.org, yeah.
We'll write it down.
We'll write it down and give it to you.
We'll give you a note of that.
I'm sorry.
We'll give you a note of that, so don't worry. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right, okay,
Alison,
very last one in this one.
Maybe worthwhile contacting the library that you just email the stuff and they can print it
That would be
themselves and put it
helpful.
up. Because I'm just conscious then you've got to get down to the library and
That'd be
prepare that
extremely
they just
helpful.
go on the distribution list and ask them whenever they receive it to print it
Would you okay
themselves.
with that?
And
Yeah.
then it means they will manage it, take down the old one and put up the new one. It might save you some time.
Thank
And
you.
print costs as well.
That's an excellent idea. Thank you so much for that. That will certainly speed up. Okay. Yeah, is it still the bus issue?
To add to that,
Yeah.
I was desperately trying to find the previous minutes to attend tonight, and I couldn't get it through the council website, and I didn't know where I was looking. When I searched Facebook,
Yeah, it's our own website. We publish it ourselves, so it's good. Yeah. No, sorry, I'm just sharing. No criticism, just sharing.
So, Gourock Community Council website, gourockcommunitycouncil.com. No, dot.
Sorry, gourockcc.org. I've got it written, I'll pass it on to you.
could that not be on the council? Because they got the community council pages on the council website, but there's no link.
Okay. I'll get that checked, thank you.
No, actually, Geraldine, that's picking up in that point, that's right, because that's the very reason we meant to send them to, and we do send them to the council. Every month we are committed to sending the agendas and the minutes, and those should be published on the Community Council web pages, so we need to find out what's happened if that's...
Should be a link to our web.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
William Wilson.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Did we not used to have a link before from the Community Council?
I believe there was one at one stage.
Right, let's bring that back, because we're now running out a little bit of time because of the quite a number of issues, but I'll take in Stuart and we're stopping this issue, moving on to the next item.
Thank you, Chair. Just a very quick question for the gentleman. In terms of the font size and also the font for also just to kind of get more details to just make it easier for.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So if you could speak to our secretary, Audrey, over here afterwards, and just let us know the font size and everything that works for you, okay? Because it will help so many others as well. So that's great. Thank you so much. These are really important points, especially when accessible Gourock is part of our strategy. So there we go. And actually, we're going to have a good discussion about the business needs as well. So thank you so much for that. Now, I'm conscious we have a big agenda here because we've got a big updates on our track, and I want to get to some issues as well. So we are moving very quickly to number 5, and that is the Calmac Dunoon to Gourock ferry. Bottom line is we have been working with Dunoon Community Council for some time in regard to helping the Calmac ferry to be a sustainable service to support both our economies, work life, etc., etc. And so the unexpected news that it was moving to a single vessel to do with repairs and life extension repairs, was it? Sorry if I got that wrong. Life extension works on both vessels, and so you'll understand during Community Council that they went a little bit, whoa! And then we were surprised by that too. So there is a meeting, I think, being organised because of the no consultation. It's all been a big surprise, and to find out a little bit more and to ask some questions. Does anybody have any comments to make about the Calmac Dunoon to Gourock ferry? Yes, Stuart.
Thanks, Chair. So got the email in, and I engaged with Jenny Minto at the MSP for availability. Now, Jenny, she contacted Calmac. She contacted Calmac because there was nothing official come through, and I had nothing official from Calmac either. So the person who spoke to in Calmac was a bit surprised because they didn't know this information had been put out. So she'd also had dialogue with Transport Scotland on this. So anyway, Jane and I had a meeting with CMAL, also in terms of ferries, but also extension of these two ferries. Because fundamentally CMAL or the organisation will also deal with ferries, but these two are not owned by CMAL, they're also owned by David Bain Limited, so part of Calmac. But nonetheless, so there's a range of different issues at play here. First of all, the two potential ports across the river are owned by Argyll Butte Council. And obviously it is owned by CMAR. Now, they haven't yet decided what type of ferry will be utilised on the routes. So clearly there's no design undertaken yet on any ferry. They are looking at different options with regards to the replacement of the two ferries that are currently there. But no decisions have yet been taken. It seems to be there's probably going to be quite some time before any decisions are taken. So the extension of the life of these two ferries is the reason why there's now that extended period. Because I mean, certainly when I saw that information, I was a bit kind of